Hi guys, Mrs. Angel here. So today we're going to be making Van Gogh inspired fall leaves. So many of you know Vincent van Gogh's famous painting, The Starry Night, and it has all those swirls and it has that big tree and the little city at the bottom, and it has all those little twinkling stars. And we're going to be making fall leaves in the style of Van Gogh. So the first thing you're going to need is a piece of paper, and you're going to want to use a pencil, and then eventually you'll want to either use a marker or crayons to do the lines and the swirls and all that stuff. So let's get started. I know we don't have tracers probably of leaves at home, so we'll just make our leaves the best that we can. And the easiest shape for us to do is to make kind of like an oval. So I'm going to make kind of like a long oval. Okay, then I'm going to make a line that goes through my leaf, and I'm going to give it just a little bit thicker at the bottom so it looks like a stem. And then we need the veins in the leaves, and we're just going to put a couple lines, not a lot. Now remember, the veins provide the leaf with the nutrients, with the water, and it brings it all the way out until the edges of the leaves. So you just want a couple. On a real leaf, there are thousands of these little tiny veins, but we're just going to draw a couple for this project. Now, I don't want all of my leaves going the same way, so I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm going to make a different shaped leaf over here. So I'm going to make a rainbow shape or an upside down U, and then I'm going to bring it to a point, kind of like a teardrop. And then I'm going to make a line coming down here, and I'm going to then make this a little bit thicker for my stem. And then again, just a couple of veins here. Again, I'm going to turn my paper because I want it to make like the leaves are kind of blowing in the wind. And again, I'm going to make a sad face. And then I'm going to make it a happy face. And those are that's kind of the shape that we would do, or the football shape that we would use for eyes. And again, we are going to then put that line through the middle. And I thicken up my stem just a little bit. And then again, I'm going to have my veins. And your veins always want to go up towards the end of the leaf. Again, I'm going to turn my paper, and I'm going to make a heart-shaped leaf. So I'm going to make a heart. And then I'm going to kind of bring it to a point. And again, I'm going to put my leaf here. This is part of my stem. And again, those lines for the vein. So I'm going to turn my paper, and I have space for one more leaf. And there is one of my favorite art teacher friends on the internet. His name is Mr. E. And he describes this leaf as being a gingerbread man. So he makes the head, and then he's going to make an arm, and then he's going to come down and make another leg, and then he's going to make an arm and a leg. And mine is not perfect. And if the head were a little bit bigger and the body were a little bit bigger, it might look like a gingerbread man. But again, it's just these little loops, and it's an oak leaf. And then again, we're going to do our line for our stem. And then we're going to add our veins. So when I'm looking at this paper, it looks to me like I have a few little spaces where I could add some little leaves. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to make a little leaf up here. And then over here, I feel like, I don't know, do I put a little one here? Maybe I'm going to make one more here, and maybe I'm going to make a little heart one. So I'm going to do kind of like a little heart. And then I could probably make one more over here, so I'll just do an oval. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I want to start adding those lines like Van Gogh uses in his paintings. And I am going to use markers. You can use crayons, you can use colored pencils, you can use whatever you have at home. I'm actually going to use markers and crayons. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find a leaf that I want to do, and I'm going to use yellow, and I'm going to make these lines. And these lines are kind of, they're going with the curve of the leaf. So again, I want to fill it in. And you're going to have white spaces in your paper, but you don't want a ton, and you want to make sure you don't have any really large gaps. And these lines eventually are going to overlap each other, and that's okay. But you wouldn't want to make lines that go this way across your leaf. So you don't want lines that go the opposite way. They want to go with the leaf. Now I'm going to grab a different color, a green, and I'm not going to use a really dark green. I just happen to have an extra, I don't know, one of these at home, and it's a lighter green. So I'm going to add that in here. And I'm not going to go too crazy with the green because it is kind of a darker green than I thought. But again, that's my one leaf. Then I'm going to decide, I maybe want to use some purples and blues. And again, you want to go with the shape of the leaf. So again, I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to grab, and I'm just making lines. And you don't want them really long. Mine are maybe a little too long. I should probably go a little shorter. Because Van Gogh uses lots of tiny lines. And then I would grab my blue and add a little blue in here. And again, I'm trying to find some of those white areas where I can add some blue in there. Now, what will happen is you would continue doing your leaves, and then you would move on to the background. Now, the background, we're gonna want to make kind of like a swirl. So I'm gonna start with a blue marker, and I'm gonna make kind of a swirl in the background, kind of like the wind. So I'm gonna start like this. I'm gonna make, and again, I'm not going through my leaves, I'm going behind my leaves. So I didn't go in my leaf. And then I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to make another kind of like swirl or wavy line. And then I might follow it up by doing another one next to it. But then I'm going to want to add a lighter blue. So I'm going to probably grab a crayon, because I don't happen to have a light blue marker. So I'm gonna go and find a blue crayon. And again, it's okay to mix and match. If you have colored pencils, that's fine too. I'm just gonna grab, I have a light blue here, and I'm just gonna now go and kind of follow those lines. And I'm just making dashes. And then if you have other blues you want to fill the background with, go right ahead. And I'm going to keep working on this. And again, we're just going to keep filling it in. So now I'm going to move on to that background, and I'm going to continue with different blues crayons and maybe some markers, and just keep working with those lines kind of in the way of the wind. So now you have your finished Vincent van Gogh inspired fall leaves. I can't wait to see what you've created.